in TF
Judge. So today, it's another episode of Interaction Dynamic.
Oh,
So in the last few episodes, we were talking about presentation, how to make a presentation, how to present.
sharing, public speaking.
Yeah, definitely. And it leads us to today's topic, stage fright.
Scary.
Ooh. Honestly, stage fright is really common. Like it's more common than you think it is. Even though you think that that person standing on stage probably has it together, but trust me, when you look behind the scenes, you probably see them shivering and trembling. But yeah.
It's how you make it less obvious sometimes.
I mean, first of all, you need to learn how to manage it, of course,
Yeah.
which is what we're going to be sharing about today.
So tell us, how?
I don't particularly have tips because I haven't been on stage quite often. But I do realize that when you start going on stage and you keep doing it regularly, you get less anxious. Yeah, it does. Because in secondary school, I had to go for performances, I have to perform in front of people. And naturally I get used to it and then I'm okay with it. But then when I lost touch with it, like if you ask me to present now, I would probably present or perform. I'll probably be shivering. But yeah, how do you manage stage fright? First of all, in my opinion, my personal experience, preparation. You have to be very very prepared because when you go on stage fright, how should I say your performance drop.
Yeah.
You see. So if you're 100% prepared, then it might drop by half. Then you never know. So one tip is to over prepare yourself, like 200%. At least when your performance drop, it doesn't affect that much. You see. So maybe practice more. If you're a performer, music performer, singer, whatever, practice more. Or if you're a presenter, maybe you can rehearse more of your lines, your script, even if it's alone, at least you have a better control of what you have. And then slowly, maybe you can bring in a friend or two to actually listen to you present and whatsoever. So that's the first one. Then, second one, I personally think besides being prepared, maybe you could chill.
Yeah.
Definitely you have to chill. But I know it, I understand it's not easy. It's really not easy to be chill. But you do have control over yourself. So maybe you can spend the first few days, you just keep preparing, but then on the day before or a few hours before the performance, then just kick back, relax a bit, sleep a bit, have some food. Oh, that's also one thing though. Yeah, but basically, relax before you go on stage.
I think another word we can use in terms of relax is maybe being stoic as well. Though it's not an easy phase to reach into. Because stoicism, in a sense where you really can't, in a sense, very simplified. I can't be more bothered. That's the simplest thing we can go with, but honestly, you do bother or you do care for this certain presentation, that's why you're here.
Yeah,
exactly. You want to improve, don't you? And so a good place to start with is don't react to the situation.
Oh yeah, that is very important. Yeah. Don't react to the situation.
Understanding that yes, I have a fear or I have this stage fright. Okay, cool. I have anxiety for this, sure, cool. I can't eat or sleep well doing perfectly fine. We know what's the situation.
Yeah.
Or I get jelly legs, I get chubby hands. It's all well and good. Understanding that is a good place to start with.
Yeah.
And knowing that, don't react to those negative signs, especially when you're on stage. So yes, you have it. Some people might see it, but most people don't.
Yeah, because the thing is, people were just listening. So if you don't react to it, they won't know. They will just be like, oh, that's probably a joke that he made, and then you just pass by it.
Just carry on.
Yeah, but if you react to it, if you're anxious about it, then it's obvious that something's not right, right? So the key to performing is to performing and presenting is to not let people catch that you have done a mistake. So if like you stutter or anything, or you could just continue it, or you just make a joke. Oh, it's a bit cold here,
I'm not myself today.
Yeah, like just.
It's okay because we're all humans, and honestly, any one of us would actually relate to that on some level and say, yeah, it's good. And if anything, you're playing with the audience, which in turn gains you more attraction, and that people are more likely to listen to your slide because it's not so much of a serious dead topic.
But of course, it's a different topic when it comes to performing music. That's one thing that's very different. Like you do get mistakes, but then if you learn to just brush off that mistake, just go on with it. I don't think much people would have heard. Unless it's like a very major mistake, then oops. But either ways, stage fright makes it even more realistic. Not only that, stage fright is something that is natural. We all will definitely get it at some point. Just don't overthink. That's one very important thing. And it's also very hard to do. Not overthinking is so hard to do. But generally, that's the idea, And which brings me to the next point. The next point is to make sure you eat well. But some people, the thing is, they don't, they prefer to not eat because it might give them diarrhea or whatever. So, but then I think that will depend on case by case. In my situation, I prefer to eat.
Or maybe we can go with the term well nourished enough.
Yeah,
get your caffeine that you need to. That's what I do.
That's what he does. That's not something I do. I don't get coffee. If I get caffeine, I'll tremble even more.
Oh boy.
You should have seen the time where I had caffeine and I was like high.
I know. I've seen everything.
So yeah, it depends. Some people have tea, some people have caffeine, some people have juice. Whatever works for you. It really, again,
even a cigarette if necessary.
We don't encourage it, but if you have to, then okay, fine.
You really can't be one. We're just here to teach you how to get rid of the stage fright and do a good presentation.
Yeah, I agree, that's true. But then, yeah, so basically, you have to experiment. It doesn't always work 100%. There are times where it works, where it doesn't. It's risky, but how else are you gonna deal with it? And another thing, one more thing you can work on during stage fright is to find someone to focus on. Yeah, that is actually one of the tips that I do have, because if you don't have someone to focus on, you're like looking everywhere, especially when you're presenting. You're like looking everywhere, like you're just looking lost. Like you don't have like a direction. So maybe you can focus on a certain person. But please don't find someone who will make you laugh, like your friends. Like those friends who will make you laugh just by looking at each other. So not those kind, or you'll be laughing on stage for no reason.
And then you have to play it off again. Oh yeah, the clown is sitting right there. Make yourself charismatic. As they say.
Your friend will hate you though.
Why not?
But yeah, unless you're very confident, you can look to like, okay, maybe this side, maybe that side. If you're not confident, it's best to just look to one or two person. Yeah. Or you can just look far ahead. But of course not like far, like you're
far enough within the margins of the audience.
Yeah, like people actually feel like, oh, they're looking at me, they're talking to me, like that kind of.
It's like an eye contact thing. So if you're going on a date or you're speaking to someone, you want them to look at you.
Yeah.
Same thing. Even though indirectly,
you're probably looking at something.
You want to feel like, he's looking into us. Nice, very nice. I like him. I like her. Very good.
That's how you fool.
Presentation's all about who can fool the best.
But it's stage fright, you see, so you have to figure something out on your own. So, so far we have prepare well. Then we have, what else do we have? Prepare well,
Stoic, or
relax, and then
get yourself nourished enough.
yeah, well nourished, and just find a place to look at. Practice as well. Oh, that's the first one. But yeah, if
I think that's for the preparatory phase.
yeah,
And maybe what if the stage fright actually happened on the spot? So what do you do about it?
oh, that's one thing. I did have a stage fright. There was one time where I was performing. Like, I was the last. Like, that's the bad part about being the last. If you have a choice, try to go first or like in the middle. Don't ever go last. Never ever choose to be the last presenter or the last performer. You will feel shit. You will just your self-esteem most of the time will just go like diving down into the deep sea. So yeah, that's one thing too. There was one time I was last to perform. Everyone ahead of me was like so good. And then when I sat on the bench, on the piano bench, I was like, shit. I had a stage fright. And then yeah, I had a false start. But I just played it off as if nothing was wrong. But when I get down, I was like, ah. Basically, stage frights, you just have to face it.
And in the moment that you actually face stage fright, I think the good place to start is just take a deep breath. Don't worry, people aren't gonna penalize you for taking an extra 5 seconds.
I mean, even though people are gonna place a judgment on you, but
There are bound to be people
so
like that.
what? So what? Why don't you challenge though? Do you want to try instead? Why don't you go try? But yeah, take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath. One good way to take anxiety off as general, like even mental health therapists, they would even suggest something like this, is 2 breath in, 1 breath out. So what this does is actually, because we usually breathe in and breathe out once each, right? But because you're doing an extra breathing in, your brain tends to refocus on yourself. So it's like, oh, I'm doing double breathing, okay. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, I'm gonna continue. So you will kind of trick your brain in a sense as well. So that's something a little bit more handy, scientific-ish, if you will, to help you during your stage fright. Go for it. Or even do 1 breath in, 2 breath out. Because it doesn't feel natural to your body.
Yeah.
So your body is like, oh, I have to refocus here, and I can't be more bothered with my stage fright now. So when you get back to it, or maybe you can do it twice and thrice to get your rhythm back. So your brain's like, oh, okay, I think I'm over it now, so let's go on.
Yeah.
And then again, you can always play it off. I'm taking a moment here.
Yeah, don't be afraid to play it off. In fact, like you mentioned, in fact it engages more.
It engages more, and it is quite charismatic to have someone who is approachable. Because when we're all humans, not and among your audience, most likely in the 60s or 70% of them are less versed with having to speak on stage as well, unless you're in Toastmasters, where most of them are public speakers. That's a whole different story.
We're talking about general audience.
But general audience-wise, yeah, your audience consists of maybe 50 to 70% of people who are familiar with the stage as well.
Yeah. Also, when you take a breather, you're giving them like a 5-second break as well. Sometimes it does get overwhelming. So when you take a breath, they'll be like, oh, okay, I need my 5 seconds as well. It does help to reset everything together.
That's a nice word, reset.
You just thought of it, right?
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about it, and then you said reset. Yeah, that's a good word.
Yeah, reset. Reset is a good word. Instead of, not to say refocus is a bad word, but reset gives you more strength. It's like I'm resetting everything. Everything is the
There are
same.
2 separate things, refocus and reset. Is 2 separate.
Reset the
condition, yeah.
but refocus
Focus on your
yourself.
thought.
Yeah.
There you go.
Hey! That's why we work well.
Hey.
So that's on how to deal with stage fright before or when you're on the stage.
And after.
Yeah, and after. Go and have a break after you're done, don't think about it anymore. In the meantime,
In TF, we judge.